Welcome back to SwitchCorner. It's time for our weekly look at my favourite deals across the Switch eShops covering the US, Canada, UK, EU and AU. Now as always with this video it's any price goes. If you are looking for the cheaper side of things, I'd say check out our Thursday edition where we keep everything, sub $10 or of course your local currency. This week then, as always, we do have two $10 eShop gift card winners to announce as we go through the video. This week though, mixing things up just a little bit as thanks to I Am 8-Bit, we're going to be giving away one copy of Ori and The Will of the Wisps and then one $10 eShop gift card. As always, to enter, just drop a comment down below and winners they'll be announced in next Saturday's episode. We're also doing that same Ori giveaway over on our Thursday 10 under 10 edition, so if you haven't checked that episode out already, maybe go and watch that one after this. With that then, hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here, join our growing family and let's get started. So first up this week, the Takeover with not only a rare sale, but its lowest price ever, offering 40% off. Dropping right before on release, just before Streets of Rage 4 on the Switch. I feel like this one, it was a little overlooked, but it really shouldn't have been because I had a great time with it. Here you'll find yourself in Steel Haven, a city with its fair share of bad guys and then of course gangs. Setting out into this world, you're out to chase down your daughter who has been kidnapped, and you'll have your choice of 3 playable heroes. We get Ethan, Megan and Connor, so the father, the mother, and then just a friend to the family. Here though, you can expect some solid fight mechanics, the usual weapons, pickups, all that good stuff, and then of course boss fights. Where this one really stands out though, there's even some vehicle based destruction thanks to a car and fighter jet level. I was really impressed. Even the visuals, I wasn't sold on them initially with the still images, but actually in motion they look really great. I was absolutely impressed. As long as you go into this knowing it's kind of aiming to live up to its influences, you should have a great time. Clones are absolutely fine as long as they are handled well, and for me this is a prime example of just that. Controversial one for you now for sure, but Panzer Dragoon Remake coming in with 33% off. A game that just absolutely divided audiences on release. Some loved it, some liked it and just took it for what it was, a pretty blast from the past, and then others just seemed to downright hate it. Me personally, it was what I expected, a straight copy of the original with no new inclusions, and yeah, that's about it. Could it have done more? Sure, but it didn't stop me from having a good time with it, and while the controls are a little dated now, and the mechanics especially, it's still Panzer Dragoon, and I hope it sells well, so we get to see more of this series. Overall though, it's simple stuff though. It's basically an on-rails shooter where the acceleration's automatic and you fly around the screen. A somewhat weird story then just kind of ties it all together, but it pays homage to the original and pretty much shot for shot is exactly the same. You can beat the game in an hour, just know that, so depending on difficulty, you've got to be a fan of just high score chasing. So I haven't seen this on sale in a little while now, but Super Crush KO, a surprisingly interesting action side-scrolling platformer. Here you'll find yourself in a neon city with a whole lot of deadly robots on the rampage to beat down on. Why are you beating down on these poor evil deadly robots? They stole your kitten, and then there's something about saving humanity in here as well. With a simplistic low poly look to its visuals, it lands just the right side of things to look stylistic and not cheap, and then with a whole lot of weapons at your disposal and some ramping difficulty. I've got to say there's a lot to like here, especially the ranking system for each level, meaning you'll want to go back and beat those online leaderboards. Really fast paced and a great deal at 34% off. Alright, let's get 2 quickfire obvious ones out of the way now from Capcom because my comments blew up last week as I didn't mention them. Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate with its lowest price ever, offering 60% off. I play World personally, but it's a solid enough entry and a port from the 3DS days that it is great for on the go. I mean, what else do I need to say about this one though? Jump online, take down monsters with friends. Then Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, a game that just got better with time and tons of work. They added just so much to it. Holding some similarities to Dark Souls on release, it for sure separated itself over time and became almost a more arcade take on that idea. It's just a great action RPG though that's deep and you can sink hours upon hours into this one, so I'd suggest checking out some full reviews before you do drop the cash. So we talked about Bloodstained Curse of the Moon in Thursday's video, now let's talk about the sequel Curse of the Moon 2. That's joining the sale but with a new all-time low of 30% off. Taking control here of Sangetsu, a swordsman out to take down a demonic stronghold, you'll actually get to control multiple different characters with some pretty great skill sets. There's a mech that is seriously badass. I preferred this one over the first game. I just felt like it fine-tuned things here, and then the variety of these different characters, it all just felt a little bit more exaggerated but also more exciting. With With 2-player co-op as well, a first for the series, it's a great deal, especially if you have, 2 folks in the household who are just like hardened gamers and up to the challenge, because this one, brutally difficult. I'd strongly suggest both entries in the sale. You will not be disappointed with either if you like your retro. Alright, so before our first winner, let's talk about my pickups, because I'm grabbing 2 this week and they are bound to be controversial ones, both from Square Enix. First, Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition. This is, from what I know at least, a cell phone version of the already, let's say, questionable in quality Final Fantasy 15, but this game was way overpriced on the Switch. Here though, with 50% off, I'm feeling, it's a little bit more generous, so I traded in a couple of physical games recently and I'm going to throw that cash here. This is essentially though the story of 15 condensed into 10 chapters, with what I understand to be a more like action focused like combat system and cutesy visual style. Do not have high hopes, I'll put that out there now. But I love Final Fantasy and I've played most of the others, so this felt like good timing to enter like this weird take on the world. Then another Final Fantasy entry, this one is Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon Everybody. This, from what I can work out, was a remake of a DS Wii game, and it's Final Fantasy meets Mystery Dungeon, meaning, lots of diving into these like dungeons and trying to make small progression with a turn-based combat system. I only recently got into the Mystery Dungeon genre thanks to Pokemon on the Switch, Fire Terrarium, and then even Katana Kami to a certain extent, so I'm kind of excited to see what Square Enix has in store for me here. Plus, you know what, who doesn't love Chocobos, and 50% off seems like a solid price to me. Alright, so our first winner of the week then, we've got Juan Sebastian Canavera, who promised himself they wouldn't spend any more cash, then immediately pulled out the bank card and picked up Opus The Day We Found Earth. Great little like short story game that is largely overlooked and should not be. Congrats Juan, drop me an email, it's in the description down below to claim your code. We do still have a second winner coming up later in the video, remember that, but first, more games. Alright, so this week I've been playing quite a bit of Rebel Galaxy Outlaw, which kind of dropped out of nowhere, and it got me thinking about, just other great space games on the Switch. Well, on Hidden Gems I spoke about the mighty Everspace. Here I want to talk about Subdivision Infinity DX. If Rebel and Everspace fall more on the serious side of things, this is for those of you out there that want just more like arcade action. Basically what we get here are just a whole lot of dogfights in space, and that's all you need or even want sometimes. I'm enjoying Rebel this far, but I don't know, something about the excitement for me when it's more arcade-like is definitely captured here. With a ton of story missions, side quests, collectibles, this should keep space fans busy a while, and this is for those moments where, you just kind of want to like shut off the brain, relax, and just shoot some stuff. It even has boss fights. New all-time low though, with 57% off. I want to quick fire through 3 region exclusives, 2 North American exclusive, 1 everywhere else. These 3 all rocking their lowest price ever. First, those North American exclusives, Puyo Tetris with 50% off. This was an early game in the Switch's life cycle. I loved it, but it seems now is as good a time as ever to talk about it with the just announced upcoming sequel. This is basically a hybrid of Tetris and Puyo, but what really impressed me, the amount of content. There's like an adventure story mode, local multiplayer for 4 players, ton of modes in that one as well, online battles, and then some simple solo arcade. While Tetris 99 might be free for the most part, I still think this one is worth a look, and I say check out the free demo on the eShop to see if this is the game for you. Then North American as well, another puzzle game here, but this one's a whole different beast. Catherine Full Body, and this is just a masterpiece, combining some seriously strong storytelling with like platformer puzzling. You move these blocks to climb a tower. The characters though will hook you, the gameplay will challenge you, and I promise you, you will not be able to put it down. Reviewed it over on the channel. I would say watch that first before you spend any cash there if you don't know anything about it, but it's one of my favourite games of the last few years, and this version just like builds on the original with an extended story. I will say though here, just be warned, adults only here and not suitable in any way for the younger audiences in your household. 33% off though, it does make it the lowest price I've ever seen, and I would probably pay double full price for this thing, honestly. Now the UK, EU, AU exclusive, and you are all winning the exclusive race this week, the mighty Dragon Quest XI with a massive 43% off and the lowest price ever. This is hands down one of the best RPGs on the system right now as you set out to save this world. With a great story, great combat, all turn-based, a stunning world and stunning characters, I'm yet to meet anyone that didn't fall in love with this one, and it is held in high regard with good reason. What extends this version too though, making it, a definitive edition, the ability to visit 2D 16-bit versions of these areas when you meet what are known as tuckles. Incredible game, well worth your cash, and it's absolutely huge. You could sink like easily 100+ hours in here and still have things left to do. Buy this one immediately if you don't own it already and you're a fan of the turn-based RPG genre. Our second winner of the week then before our final 3 games, and it's a monster 3 games this week. But this second code, anyways, getting distracted, it's going to Matthew Williams, who decided to pick up Shinsekai Into the Depths from last week's video, a mighty underwater Metroidvania that's still on sale right now if you haven't checked it out for yourself. Drop me an email though, Matthew, to grab your code. Everyone else, remember to drop a comment down below to enter this week for your chance to win either the Ori and The Will of the Wisps code or a $10 eShop gift card. With that then, the final 3 games of the week, and what a week this is. These things are massive. First up, Pawarumi. I featured this on the Hidden Gem series and it's having a 3-day flash sale for a monster 85% off, and it's a new all-time low by like really far. This one though, you're gonna need to be quick as this deal is over in around 24 hours after this video goes live. This one though, it's essentially a vertical scrolling shmup with a, as expected, huge level of difficulty and learning curve. Where it stands out though, it's the production levels with a twisting and turning camera that follows you through this world, and then some real nice 3D rendered backgrounds that go a long way to showing you kind of like the height you're flying at and the scale of this world. Shmup fans strongly recommend this, just move quick if you do want it. Our penultimate game of the week then, Aero Complete Edition, and this has to be one of the most unique rhythm games on the Switch and was easily worth full price. Now it's a steal with its first ever sale offering 40% off. Do not expect to see this sale often. It's been out since 2018 with not a single drop. Here though, we're basically getting part rhythm action, part twin stick shooter. The rhythm piece of the gameplay follow a white line on screen that moves to the beat of the music while weaving your way through obstacles. Then to pad this out, we also get shooting segments where you aim with the right stick, and it's kind of similar to Panzer Dragoon in a sense. There's like a lock-on system for those that have played it. This one though, it looks absolutely stunning, but this would all mean nothing without the music being good, and it absolutely nails it. We're getting like a heavy dance focus overall, but like everything from the more like chill commercial pop side of dance through to a whole lot of trap. Basically, when things get heavy, they get real heavy. This one, another must buy for me and would most weeks be my top pick easily. That would be at least if it wasn't going up against the mighty Untitled Goose game. I think it's fair to say this is the most requested game in the comments on my deals videos nearly every week, and it's finally happened, 25% off. First sale since this very same launch sale like a year and a half back now, so if you've wanted it, now is the time to jump on board. Untitled Goose game though, it's a slapstick stealth sandbox game where you are basically a goose that's escaped in the village and your only goal, terrorize the locals. Expect to be stealing all sorts of things, honking, chasing the locals. Sounds so simple, but in action it feels like some sort of genius made it. It's not difficult, nor is it particularly lengthy, but you will not regret it and you will return. And they even recently added a completely free update where you can now play with another player locally, so you get a buddy. It even has single Joy-Con support. This one has been requested so many times, so if you're one of those folks that mentioned it before, do not pass up this opportunity. I don't expect to see this deal often, probably at least another 12 months. And that is it, another week down. What will you be adding to your collection? Remember then, drop a comment down below for your chance to win either a $10 eShop gift card or a code for Ori and The Will of the Wisps, thanks to the folks over at I Am 8-Bit. Why not as well then check out our Thursday edition too. All those deals are still live and we have an Ori code to give away there too. With that then, like a shout out to the patrons of the channel who are just going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. Helps more than you know, so thank you all so much. It truly is appreciated. If you want to check that out for yourself, it is linked in the video description down below. Then finally, hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here. Join our growing family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.